of yesteryear. Now we're on Holland territory at Amsterdam, Netherlands. We're going to concentrate a bit on Rabbi Moses Raphael de Aguilar, Zecher Tzedek Livracha, famous rabbi in Holland. In his time, he lived between the year 1611, I believe he passed away on the 15th of December in the year 1679, famous one. He was a Sephardic Dutch rabbi, a Hebrew grammarian, let's just say. He happened to be a scholar. He wrote more than 20 books on various topics. He would also go on to write a commentary on biblical verses, let's say a Hebrew grammar books, and books on Jewish law, concentrating on, and a treatise on Aristotelian logic, let's just say a classic Greek and Roman literature. Very, very interesting enough. Also, let's explore a few of the highlights of the great rabbi's life. Okay, so he was an erudite. He was a classic, let's say, scholar, an important lecturer at Amsterdam Talmud Torah. He actually taught in the famous Etz Chaim, and he ran a successful private school. The rabbi did. So it's actually very interesting, we can say. Now, I believe he was born in Portugal, I think, come up the year 1611. His parents happened to be someone named Abraham de Aguilar and Violenta de Paz. They happened to be crypto Jews who moved to the Netherlands, I think, during, let's say, the 80 Years' War. It's something we've spoken about on various occasions before when we spoke about the video of Dutch history. Now, I believe it was there that Rabbi Moses would go on to become Rabbi Moses. He briefly served as a teacher at Amsterdam Talmud Torah. However, I think the year 1641, his wife, Esther de Castro Tartas, and his wife's nephew, a person we mentioned about before, Isaac de Castro Tartas, and about 600 other Jews from the Netherlands. They included the famous rabbi we spoke about before, Rabbi Isaac Aboab de Placenca. They would go on to move to Brazil following its, let's say, the Dutch colonization. Now, it was in Brazil that he became the rabbi of a congregation called the Magen Avraham Congregation of Recife. Now, although at that point in time, Rabbi Moses, let's just say, in Brazil, he would actually spend a short tenure over there. It wasn't that long. It followed, I think, the Portuguese recolonization of the region. And he, alongside most of, let's say, the Brazilian Jewish community, they would go on to return to Amsterdam, to the Netherlands. Now, on his return to the Netherlands, Amsterdam, he would go on to open up a private yeshiva. Well, I believe he would go on to write some 20 books, but I believe only 2 were published in his lifetime. He passed away on December the 15th in the year 1679 in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. Now, he actually, among his works and legacy, let's just say, he introduced his students to something called the Trivium. This happened to be medieval and Renaissance curriculum of liberal arts for the study of, let's say, logic, grammar, and rhetoric, let's just say, to educate future generations in appreciation of literary composition. Now, his knowledge of logic assisted the teachers of his time, such as another person, Isaac Orobio, and a famous Rabbi Menashe ben Israel, rabbi we've spoken about on various occasions before, one of the rabbis that was responsible, let's just say, for British Jewry, coming back to Britain, the Jewish community over there. He would, let's say, there was the aiding of understanding, an elegant style to arguments. They contributed to Republic letters. He would also possess a good collection of various different Greek sources, including Aristotle and Plato, Latin sources including Seneca, Virgil, Quintilian also, and Horace, and other works, let's just say, of universal authors such as Augustine. Book 3 of his treatise of Aristotle's Logic, I think page 137, proclaims the argument, let's just say, of his vision. Now, who are his Talmidim? Yet famous Talmidim, including the famous Rabbi Menashe in Israel, who we spoke about. Another man, Isaac Orobio de Castro, someone named Joseph de la Viga, and the famous Rabbi Avram Pereira, who we've spoken about on another video before. His works, and they would include, under the name called, the first one, Epitome Grammatica Hebraica. This was a treatise on Hebrew grammar. This was the first book that he had. Then another one of his book was called Dinim de Shechita Yet Bedika. This was a basic overview, let's say, of the rules of Shechita, of kosher slaughter. Which then there was a Zecher Rab. This is a collection of the Midrashim in the Talmud, a special book within regards to that. Then the Sefer HaMa'asim. This was a collection of all the stories inside the Talmud that came together. Remember, in those days, it wasn't so easy to put all these things together. It was a lot of work from sources. They weren't as able as they had nowadays with the internet and with facilities, so we didn't have that in those days. Then there was another work, the Tratado de Immortadilla de Alma. It was a book written in response to, let's just say, there was a Jewish heretic at the time of the name Uriel de Acosta, who denied the principles of Jewish faith. So he would maybe write a questionnaire on him. Now, I believe the year that he actually went to Brazil from Amsterdam was 1641, and I think his nephew, who he went with, was the martyr Isaac de Castro Tartas. He would go on to become, as we said before, the rabbi and the chazan of Magen Abraham congregation, or Mauricia, at that point in time. I believe when he opened this private school, I think in 1659, Rabbi Menashe ben Israel would actually replace him in his position, if I'm not mistaken. And in the Etz Chaim Seminary, remember the Etz Chaim Seminary in Amsterdam was one of the famous places over there. Now, I think in total he wrote about 20 books in his time. The Hebrew grammar book was printed, I believe, in 1660 or 1661 in Amsterdam, and the Dinim de Shrita was printed in 1681. And I think there was another book maybe printed after he passed away in the 1930s at one stage in time. Now, he had a very rich library also, and I think it was auctioned off at a later stage. His library, I think, was there was an entire catalogue, I think, in Amsterdam in the year 1681. So without a doubt, he's known as one of the earliest in Jewish bibliography. He was a famous rabbi of his time. I recommend everyone to learn more within regards to him. Now, friends, we're a community here. We're learning about famous, let's say, Oriental rabbis of yesteryear. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. We're nearing a staggering 7,000 subscribers, which is a phenomenal achievement. If you dissent from any of the Chachamim we're speaking about inside the series, please send me an email. I would love to hear more information. Or if you dissent from them, if you feel anyone's interested in watching any of these videos that we're recording, please share these videos to other people, and let's grow this community and make this into something huge. At the moment, we've covered, friends, already about 1,100 biography videos of great rabbis from yesteryear, which is a phenomenal achievement over here. So if you want me to record a video on maybe a rabbi that you're related to, if we haven't covered them already, please send me an email, send me information. I would love to investigate more. So on that note, wishing you a fantastic week, Shavua Tov V'rach, and take care and watch over and subscribe to the channel. Thanks.